A couple Bitcoins. Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Hey, everyone.
My name is Brandon Doge.
And I'm Woody.
We're chilling here on Error by Trial Radio. It is Sunday, June 18th, 2017.
That's right, and it's episode 67 today.
Alrighty, another fantastic week in altcoins.
Yeah. Not quite as maybe euphoric as the 9 prior weeks, I would say.
I think the fear is real. The fear is in the air this week.
Still solid.
Yeah, actually, as we'll see, interestingly, a lot of coins did well this week, despite kind of obviously the big sell-off in Bitcoin and some of the other uncertainty that's out there. So still a lot of interesting stuff going on. This is episode number 67.
Right.
We are brought to you, as usual, by Cryptopia.
That's cryptopia.co.nz.
Cryptopia is an excellent trading platform for altcoins. They have a ton of great coins there. I strongly recommend stopping by and checking them out if you haven't already. Kind of one of the best up-and-coming exchanges. In addition to being an exchange, they have a ton of other great features.
Yeah, they've got forums over there. They have some mining. They've got a marketplace. You can check out the forum altcoin section. We have a thread sticky at the top. We love comments there, and we can give out some of our DOT for rewarding people for saying hi.
That's right. DOTs are like the native cryptocurrency of Cryptopia, so all of their services there are for sale in DOT, and you can also trade them. You can do anything you want with DOT. It's a lot of fun. So please stop by the thread. We'll toss some DOT your way.
We've also been having fun giving away some DOT on the show for trivia winners, and we're going to continue that today with a 10,000 DOT giveaway.
That's right. 10,000 of those dots. These dots are hot lately, man.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
want dots.
That's right. It's less DOT than before.
What of it? We were doing 20,000, but the dots are more valuable now, you know?
Yeah.
We'll scale it up and down, I guess, as the dot
honestly,
price changes.
It's hard to justify finding questions hard enough to give away that many DOT. So maybe the questions will match things a little easier or something. It'll be fun. We'll all have fun.
Yep.
All right. Let's jump into it.
We're going to start it off with the news.
That news and stuff.
Love the news. I guess biggest item in the news this week is an announcement from Bitmain.
Right. Bitmain made a press release, and they're planning their own hard fork now should the user-activated soft fork succeed on August 1st, from my understanding.
So Bitmain, of course, is staunchly opposed to the user-activated soft fork because they're kind of in the Bitcoin Unlimited hard fork camp. Did Bitmain come out in favor of the compromise or whatever the big compromise solution is called?
No, I think that is the same. It's all a little confusing at this point. We're going to try to break everything down maybe on an episode coming up here.
I don't think that's the same. There's the scaling consensus, which is like what people all agreed to at that convention. Then there's the user-activated soft fork, which is kind of like the nuclear option for overriding the...
Well, the one thing I'm certain of is that the BIP 148 that they're referencing is the same as the user-activated soft fork.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I thought that was the same as the agreement, quote-unquote, that was presented at the convention.
No, the agreement at the convention was for activating SegWit along with a 2 megabyte hard fork.
Okay.
So it's a block size increase and a SegWit activation. I'm not sure how that affects Bitmain as far as like the ASIC boost and all that.
So where does that one
goes.
fall into all of this at this point then?
Which one? BIP 148?
I just call it the agreement because that's what they called it. I don't know which one I don't know the technical name for that one.
The agreement seems to be the direction that everybody's going in. And my understanding of this is that I think Bitmain is along with the agreement. I could be wrong with this. And what Bitmain is saying is, okay, this is the agreement. If anybody tries to do the user-activated soft fork, then we're going to do a hard fork.
But doesn't it seem like the user-activated soft fork is very likely to occur?
Yeah, it all seems pretty likely, which is interesting because all these people have signed on to the agreement, the consensus agreement. And then, but it still seems like there's a lot of nodes that are interested in the user-activated soft fork. So it's almost like we're potentially going in like 3 directions of, the weird Bitcoin Unlimited scene on the side, the scaling agreement with the hard fork and SegWit that is kind of the mainstream thing right now, and then the user-activated soft fork. And so is it conceivable that there could be like a world where all three of these split off? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure.
And so in regards to Bitmain specifically, their basically plan is to wait a half a day or so after the scheduled time for the soft fork, and at that point decide whether they're going to essentially create a fork that will have a minimum block size.
Okay.
Of 1 megabyte.
Oh, that's pretty funny. So their fork is only going to mine blocks that are over 1 megabyte, and then anybody who didn't go along with the hard fork won't be able to get blocks cleared.
I think so.
Mechanism.
Like I said, I think it's worth us revisiting the entirety of sort of this drama in another segment coming up.
Yeah, it's a lot of different directions this all could go in. It seems like that August 1st date, the user-activated soft fork date, is putting a lot of pressure on people too right now to
that seems
make
like
a decision.
A pretty solid date.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so that is Bitmain. They're announcing their own hard fork in the event that the user-activated soft fork goes through.
Little bit on the lighthearted news side, Dennis Rodman wears a Potcoin T-shirt and gets covered on every major media outlet. My mom tells me about it. It's pretty funny.
Yep, Dennis Rodman's he's going back to North Korea, or he's already gone back to North Korea, and he was sponsored by the cryptocurrency Potcoin.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. Almost a surprise. Was that announced before? Do you know? Did you hear anything about it before?
I think this is their first relation.
Oh my god,
Dennis Rodman.
This is brilliant, man. They really stole the show. Dogecoin is like famous for their hijinks, like with the NASCAR and stuff.
Right.
Potcoin's really just escalated things in a hilarious way, I got to admit.
Some pretty interesting placement for sure.
It's quite a publicity stunt. And then I think the coin crashed along with a couple others this week. But how is Potcoin doing right now?
I don't know. You know, it was all timed very well, market-wise, from what I could tell. It like went up for, 6 hours after that announcement. Or
just
something.
long enough for people to get lured in.
Right.
So that is Potcoin. They sponsored Dennis Rodman's trip to North Korea.
Just a testament to some of the strange overlaps in the real world, I guess, nowadays. That's really good marketing. At that point, somebody has some connections or creative enough mind to know how to find those. An interesting marketing connection.
I'm definitely hearing more people talking about this stuff in real life than I ever have before, so definitely this Dennis Rodman thing just escalated it to another level. Mm-hmm. If only we could have something as glorious as Coinye again.
I know, none of the celebrities care.
Yeah, why aren't they suing these cryptos, man? Bring it back to the old days. Get some real publicity.
Out of all the coins, though, nobody's wanted to revive Coinye, I guess, because they know why not to, probably.
You could make it an Ethereum token. It'd be so good.
So, kind of interesting big news for Litecoin. Bitstamp is supposedly going to launch Litecoin trading on Monday.
So Litecoin has been doing a really good job of getting itself listed on more and more exchanges, and right now, Bitstamp, I guess, is the latest to announce that they will be adding it.
It's cool. It's like these exchanges went for 3 years and then woke up and were like, wait a minute, why didn't we list Litecoin out of all of these coins?
Well, you might recall that Litecoin didn't look so good.
I guess, I know.
For most of the last 3 years.
I thought it was always supposed to be
a joke.
the silver to Bitcoin's gold is what I heard.
The silver to Bitcoin's gold, yep.
Well, I don't know. To me, it seems well-deserved and sort of about time from my perspective.
And as much as people joke about, Litecoin being the silver to Bitcoin's gold or just being a rock in general, that kind of approach to it is actually a big part of kind of what's benefiting Litecoin today, right? The reason that they're getting listed is because, like you said, they're still regarded as this solid alternate version of Bitcoin.
Right.
And then they really added to that in a big way with the SegWit activation. Like Litecoin added SegWit, a dozen other coins have added SegWit, right? Litecoin is the only one that's getting on Bitstamp. It's the only one that's getting on Coinbase and all these other things. And I think a big part of it is because of that reputation that people built for it, of this idea that it's the silver to Bitcoin's gold or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all just altcoins, right? And Litecoin, of course, has the benefit of timing and community and experience and all that stuff to their advantage.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see now, especially now that people are having transactional issues with Bitcoin, the extent to which Litecoin is seeing increased adoption, and all of a sudden it starts to become feasible. This idea of Litecoin is, just a little bit more usable version of Bitcoin, and that idea actually gaining traction. It's interesting to see it, I guess.
Has a lot less baggage.
Yeah, exactly.
Lighter.
But it's funny that it's Litecoin and not, any of the million other coins that are out there.
Well, sure, but that's what I mean. Like, like Ethereum got attention before Litecoin did, even though I feel like Litecoin had been around it's obviously been around for so much longer. And
right. I think that Ethereum was starting to fill that niche. Like, it was really stealing some of Bitcoin's thunder, like as a transactional network.
Mm-hmm.
But it's become pretty obvious that the Ethereum blockchain itself is kind of reached the limit of some aspects of its own scaling.
I never even thought that its specialty was to be a transactional network in that way anyway, but I could be wrong. Maybe that was always a goal.
I mean, it just has really fast blocks, which on paper would make you think that it, faster confirmations and that kind of stuff. But the nature of the blockchain with the way they handle orphans and uncles and stuff, it makes it work out that the transactions aren't necessarily all that much faster. With how crappy Bitcoin is now, obviously Ethereum is probably still faster.
Probably.
But
as long as it's not a new ICO day. But
I think that what we've learned, especially, is when the chains are working smoothly, the 2.5 minute confirmations or whatever that you get on Litecoin, that seems to be good, satisfy most use cases.
Well, I think it's definitely an improvement.
Yeah.
There's other blockchains out there that are way faster than Litecoin too.
Yep, definitely.
But it's awesome that they're getting listed on some of these bigger exchanges, and the one we were talking about in particular was Bitstamp there.
Another funny piece of LTC news this week, the Litecoin Foundation has come out and announced that there are no problems with SegWit.
They did they feel like they did a review or something?
Yeah, they just wanted to let everybody know that nothing has yet gone wrong. It's funny to me. Just
the value of Litecoin being able to test that is huge, and I think obviously they can't take the credit of being the first to activate SegWit because there was a mad rush
to do it. Yeah,
but still, it makes sense to me to test SegWit on these other chains prior to Bitcoin actually activating it.
And Litecoin is like the biggest target now too. Maybe somebody who figured out an exploit for SegWit. They don't want to roll it out on Vertcoin or something because the prize isn't big enough. They want to wait for something bigger, right?
Well, that reminds me of that. Remember we reported on that guy who had basically put a bunch of Litecoin in a wallet?
The bounty.
That said, come get it.
Yep.
If SegWit doesn't work, here it is. I can't remember any details on the price of that, but it was quite a bit at the time and probably even more now.
So yeah, I also think it's funny whenever people announce like everything's fine.
Yeah, right.
Just announcing that nothing's wrong doesn't always inspire confidence, but in this case, I think is a good sign.
No news is good news, especially when you announce it publicly.
All right, that's it for Litecoin this week. Also in the news, we have Coinbase. There's possibly going to be in a trial because of their role in the Cryptsy debacle.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, I'm sure you remember Big Vern.
Oh yeah, who could forget Big Vern, man?
Such a classic screen name.
That was like when Cryptsy was the biggest exchange for altcoins when we first started trading, and it was so funny to you realize you're in this boundary between something that's real and something that's serious and something that's like revolutionary or interesting, at least as far as the technology goes, and then something that's just kind of absurd. And having this big altcoin exchange being run by a Twitter account called Big Vern was always one of those things that just reminded me how absurd the whole thing is.
So, long story short, he sold a lot of the money that he made through Coinbase. And so they may be liable for some of that, I guess, illegal money being filtered.
They have probably some kind of money laundering liability, essentially.
Yeah. My impression is that a lot of this happened prior to them kind of structuring themselves as rigidly as they are now.
Interesting.
And I guess my impression is that now that they're a big company, they kind of have to they're going to be dealing with lawsuits forever.
Yeah, they're under a little bit more of a spotlight, and some of these decisions that might have made sense back then are going to have to get re-examined, I guess. But
I guess part of what I'm thinking there is that they probably wouldn't have. It probably wouldn't be as easy for Big Vern to do what he did now through Coinbase.
Oh, okay, right.
So This is actually like dealing with a problem that did exist for them, maybe in a legal sense, but I think that since they've sort of fixed it, but they're still going to be dealing with this fallout at this point in time.
Yeah, and there's always going to be just this issue of to what extent are these service providers liable for some of the criminal activity that goes on. And I guess we'll see that get fleshed out as time goes on.
Well, they're liable to the extent that they have agreed to the law to what they've agreed to abide to.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
in Coinbase's case, they've tried to be completely compliant, which puts them, I think, in this scenario, right?
Yep. So yeah, Coinbase, they might be facing trial over their role in the Cryptsy collapse.
Yeah, and they'll probably face a lot of other trials as time goes on.
Alrighty, that is it for the news. Next up, as usual, we are going to jump into our markets roundup.
Yeah, we love taking a look at those numbers.
Just another hot week in the markets. Just never stops, man. Game don't quit.
So we have not reported a downward move in Bitcoin price on a weekly basis for quite some time.
Yeah, the last actual down week that we've been keeping track of was like in March when it was the ETF thing.
Right. But here we are. Bitcoin price is down to $2,540 a coin.
That's a drop of $405, minus about 13.7% for the week for Bitcoin.
So still really high.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Especially for the year.
A $400 weekly change for such a long time that we traded Bitcoin. That was the value of Bitcoin.
That's true.
Now it's just like one weekly candle or whatever, and the price after it is still $2,500. Like it's pretty incredible.
So that happened. Ethereum went up a little bit. They're now sitting at $372 USD. That's a price change of about $25.
That's right. Ethereum picking up another 7% this week. Just unbelievable. So we see USD slowing down, but not really. The day that Bitcoin crashed the most, I think it dropped down to about 2,000 on Bitfinex. I'm not sure if it got quite that low on some of the other exchanges, but at any rate, the day that Bitcoin was the most, kind of the deepest into its crash, Ethereum was definitely crashing a little more too. I think it saw a low of about maybe 275 or something like that.
Right.
But then it ended up bouncing back more strongly than Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin's still way down on the week. Ethereum still managing to claw out a 7% gain.
Just scratching it out.
Oh, man, I think a lot of people are feeling the knife edge at this point of just we've come so far, and it really makes you realize how potentially fragile the markets can be, but also in a way we're seeing some new strength exhibited in these markets too, in terms of they used to be so Bitcoin-centric, and now we're seeing just like, oh, well, you know, Bitcoin drops 14%, but Ethereum goes up 7%, and you realize that, you know, Ethereum's market cap is so huge now that it's almost enough to counteract the Bitcoin movement.
For sure. There's a smattering of other coins that went up as well. Out of the top 101 coins on CoinMarketCap, 36 of them are up against the US dollar, and 76 of them are up against Bitcoin.
So I guess what that says is the majority of coins did lose a little bit of ground this week, even in their USD valuations. So the majority of the top 100 at least. Sliding a little bit against USD, but
right.
They didn't slide as much as Bitcoin. So as far as this idea of altcoins as the hedge or whatever, it's actually still intact, which is kind of interesting because one thing I know that I had been afraid of, and one thing that a lot of people have been speculating about is, you know, we all know the old dynamic, Bitcoin goes up, alts crash.
Yes.
We saw that kind of get turned on its head as the Bitcoin pump kind of and the Ethereum pump together kind of reached their
more advanced.
Their apex. We started seeing alts and Bitcoin rising together just at a huge speed. And there's a big question then of when the market turns, are we going to see alts crash along with Bitcoin? Which would mean, if you think about, you know, someone who's heavily denominated in alts, right? If Bitcoin goes down 40% in whatever time period, and then alts go down 40% relative to Bitcoin, then that's like for your actual portfolio decrease, that's something like 65%. It's a huge hit you'll end up taking if you're heavily invested in altcoins. And there was definitely a fear of that happening just because the way that the trend had kind of flipped around. And so one thing I was wondering, one thing I think a lot of people were wondering this week is how are altcoins going to hold up when the Bitcoin crash does come?
Sure. Well, Can I give my ideal scenario?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So ideally, that incredible rise in Bitcoin's price dragged all of these alt prices up, and now they're going to defend their U.S. dollar values as Bitcoin eventually, whether it's next week or a month from now, starts to correct itself.
And a few weeks ago, I might have called that theory crazy, but we're seeing it actually play out a little bit this week in the numbers, so I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I don't know how long. I think each individual coin will have to have its own battle there.
A reckoning, yeah.
But that would be the ideal situation for a coin that gained a lot of value through the Bitcoin rise, but maybe maintain the same Bitcoin value, for example.
Okay. Yep. Looking at some overall numbers, the top 100 coins this week, they picked up about 4.5% in USD value total. So even though the majority of coins did actually lose a little bit of value, the winners were big enough that the overall top 100 coins were up overall in USD. They gained about 23.5% versus Bitcoin. So no surprise there, Bitcoin down, alts overperforming that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The median change this week. So interesting. The median coin was actually down about 6.7%, despite the index being up 4.5%. It just goes back to what we were saying earlier. The winners are big enough to offset the losers.
Right.
Some of those winners this week, we had Ant Shares up 190%.
Wow.
QRL, that's the Quantum Resistant Ledger. That's an ETH token, up 92%.
Coming out of nowhere. Deciding it's going to be ranked 55.
Like another ETH token, another top 100, right?
Right. Komodo up 76%. This one will not stop going up. Totally caught, as a trader, totally flushed me out. I'll be honest.
They gotcha.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I was expecting a correction at some point prior to now.
Oh, that'll happen. I never messed with Komodo.
And then BTCD, Bitcoin Dark.
Bitcoin Dark, that's up 69%. Let's see. On the losers side this week, we have Swarm City Token down 34%.
That's right. Moon down 33%. Note down 25%.
XDN, it's a digital note, is down 19%. A lot of Polo delisting coins with a lot of volume still, even after the delistings, right? I think Bitcoin Dark was a delisting.
For sure.
Note, that was D-Notes, that's down. Digital Note, those are all delisting coins, and they're still seeing a lot of volatility, which is interesting.
That's great. I don't think, Polo's intention with delistings is to kill the coins. It was kind of like, that would be a sad side effect, so it's good to see that that's not like what happened with a lot of that last round.
I think we've seen that dynamic totally shift. We're still seeing the big sell-off, but we're seeing huge rebounds on almost, maybe not everything, but a huge portion of these delisting coins.
I would love for somebody to point out a coin that got delisted in the previous Polo one that is not higher than its delisting low, because I'm almost certain all of those were good buys at that point.
There might be some.
There might be one, but I don't know what it is.
Probably like DM, right?
Oh, yeah.
Can you even trade DM?
I don't know. Yeah, there might be some that are untraded. That's right. Like Unity is only on the NXT market now, so that makes that difficult to trade, stuff like that.
So let's see, looking at the coins that were removed and added from the top 100. Removed from the list, Unity, that's SuperNet, like we were just talking about. D-Notes, BCAP, CloakCoin, Nexium, Shift, Rads, Golos, Mona, Feathercoin, Unity Ingot, WorldCoin Token, Waves Community Token, and IFC were all removed from the top 100 this week.
Replacing them, Myota, Very, MGO, that's that Mobile Go, Leo, Mysterium, VSL, Voxels, QAU.
I don't know what that one is.
XAS, Databytes, Dice, XBY, and Skycoin.
Yeah, and that MIOTA or Myota is that IOTA coin, that huge token that was on Bitfinex. It's another token that's...
Did that have an M on it before?
The ticker has the M on it. The ticker's MIOTA, but the coin is IOTA. It's like $1 billion market cap right out of the gate. It's ridiculous.
Wow. All right.
So that is our top 100 coin report. We also like to do a special report just on the Ethereum sub-tokens.
Yeah, if you're in the blockchain token asset trading space, then you certainly have noticed how popular Ethereum assets have become. So we thought, why don't we start tracking those on their own?
It's true. And so taking a look at our Ethereum price index this week, we're looking at 33 tokens total. Last week we just added Humanic to the list, so it gets us up to 33.
What did we add this week?
This week we're going to add IOTA, and I'm also going to throw the Quantum Resistant Ledger and Minerium in there, I think.
Okay.
But so those will show up on next week's report, so those numbers are not a factor for this week. As far as the 33 coins that are currently on the index, only 5 of them up this week versus USD, so the vast majority down versus US dollar, and then about 18 out of 33 up versus Bitcoin. So about holding even with Bitcoin this week, the tokens.
I mean, yeah. That doesn't excite me.
Yeah, it's funny. We've seen actually tokens mostly underperforming the top 100 for the most part since we've been tracking them. Kind of a surprising result considering how kind of heated up the token markets are right now. But one thing that you have to understand is that these measurements that we're taking do not really count the gains that are being made from ICOs. So a coin like IOTA or something, ICOs at one price shows up at 100 times the gain.
Right.
We can't really track that as a weekly gain, through CoinMarketCap or anything. So it doesn't really show up in our numbers.
That makes sense.
So what you're actually seeing is kind of the performance of these coins after their ICO, after the price discovery or whatever. And so what we're seeing is that in many cases, while they're up or while they might be performing well overall, the token markets overall have been underperforming the top 100 a little bit if you start from the coin listings and not from the ICO.
So 5 of them up against USD, you said.
Yep.
18 up against Bitcoin.
Yeah, we have a median change of minus 15% for USD value. Median change versus Bitcoin of basically 0%. So that just reinforces they kind of tracked the Ethereum tokens tracked with Bitcoin in price this week, which is a little weird. But
I wonder, it'd be interesting to kind of exclude the really high market caps from our analysis and see if those, excluding the ones that seem to disregard Bitcoin, so to speak. Do you think start to track Bitcoin more closely, or what do we notice there?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let's see. Looking at our gainers and losers on the Ethereum index, we have V-Slice up 176%, ICN up 40%, Token Card up 29%, and Edgeless up 20% this week.
Nice. On the other side, EMV down 58%, BPC down 50%, Swarm City Token down 34%, and YOC down 16%.
Looking at the alt markets overall, the total value of altcoins right now is sitting at $68.5 billion. That's a 7% gain from last week. We were at $64.1 billion. So still, once again, some gains there overall for altcoin markets.
At the very least, altcoins will just keep loading brand new, heavily inflated market caps on.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to keep piling on new ICOs and stuff that run the numbers up. Or just like 100% pre-mine stuff. It's really easy to run your market cap up that way too. But
so that puts Bitcoin dominance at 37.8%. That's down 5.2% from last week.
Our Ethereum dominance is chilling at 50%. That is no change this week for Ethereum dominance. Just still about 50% of the overall altcoin market is just Ethereum at this point.
Hey, you just chill Ethereum, do your thing.
All right, that's going to wrap up our markets segment this week.
Pretty exciting stuff. I always feel like, the markets always are where I feel like the edge really is, where you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, it's what people care about.
It's where the action happens.
It's what people care about.
Yeah.
We can talk about the technology all day, but the reason that so many people are excited about it right now is because the price is up,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Alrighty, we're going to jump into some user mentions next. So this is where people drop into our Cryptopia thread and we talk about the coins that they mention.
That's right. We love suggestions, and it's probably the best way to get us to talk about ICOs at this point.
Yeah,
we've been
we've like been struggling to come up with good ways to incorporate ICOs and not have it just be, I don't know, directionless or weird. And the easiest thing that we've come up with is just to have user suggestions, and we've gotten some good ones.
Definitely stuff that we weren't, we kind of ignore them, so it's great to become aware of these. The first one we're going to talk about is called Numerai, kind of like samurai, but with numerals.
Numerai. This isn't even really an ICO, right? This is just
Correct. This is not an ICO.
It's an interesting coin.
This one is not in my wheelhouse as far as obtaining them. So basically, what these guys are working with is data scientists and predictions of some type that they can make these models out of, right?
Okay.
If you're a data scientist, I would suggest checking it out, because what they're basically doing is you are in this community with other data scientists and you're working on these models for predictions. And your model creates a prediction. You don't have to share your model with them, but you share the prediction, I guess, and the results of that. In the process, they reward people with the Numerai, or Numerium in this case, which is an Ethereum token, and also actually pay them in Bitcoin. What do they get out of it? I asked them in their Slack. Well, I guess they can take these results and sort of combine them together outside of the system and then use those on markets to their own advantage.
Yeah, so I guess the idea is they're trying to be what they're calling a new kind of hedge fund, and they're going to have data scientists out there building algorithms to help them control the capital in their fund. And so it's kind of like a competition to build the algorithms that perform the best for them to use. And then the people who come up with the algorithms are paid back in the numerium, the cryptocurrency from the coin, right?
That's right. And it's an interesting combination of competitiveness as well as collaborativeness because, for example, a data scientist involved in one of they call them tournaments. They're like rounds, basically. A data scientist involved in one of the tournaments could potentially lose some value if they submit a incorrect submission. So it behooves everyone to sort of cooperate together so that they all can submit correct solutions, was, I guess, how it was described to me.
And I wonder, does the hedge fund trade cryptocurrencies, or is it trading like stocks or broader assets, I wonder?
They aren't going to divulge that information, essentially.
Right.
So they aren't going to give away a lot of information about what is happening to those results after they process them, essentially.
This is really, really kind of an interesting idea, pretty interesting project. Once again, I always love things that are out there and working, and it really does seem like there are people out there submitting algorithms to this system and getting paid out in Numerium, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all actually happening, which is cool to see.
No, honestly, when I go into their Slack, they the people that seem to be more involved in that side of it were a little bit confused as to why anyone would be interested in trading their token, right?
Right. What's the point of the token?
Like they weren't quite in that world, that part of the cryptocurrency world.
Oh, right. They understood the data scientist part, but they didn't get the what good is the token part.
Right.
Well,
so, yeah. I mean, what I think is so cool about this type of interesting distribution scheme is if they're trying to attract a certain type of person with these really specific skills, if this type of project is worthwhile and can get in front of that person, it would be a really awesome way for them to get paid, I suppose, without any type of middleman, right?
Right.
It's kind of the dream.
That's true. That's a good point. The problem for me with this one is you wonder what is the point of the token other than, like, it's cool to pay people with this token, right? What other use is there for the token? Like, what's going to drive buyers into the market, I guess, right? Is it just going to be the company doing it, company buying back its own tokens to incentivize people to continue to submit the algorithms, or is there some other underlying value to the token maybe that I'm missing? I'm not sure.
I don't think you're missing anything there. I think for all practical purposes, it could have remained sort of its own isolated system, but then it would have made it really difficult to actually cash out for these people that are going to be paid for their work.
Right, and now it's just an asset. They'll probably be able to trade it anywhere or whatever.
Right.
All right, well, that makes sense, I guess.
So at the very least, the people that were behind this project would support it, and then, of course, people are likely to speculate on its value at some point as they like to do, right?
Right. So that's the thing I wonder. As a speculator, somebody who loves to speculate on the value of tokens, I'm like wondering, if this is just a mechanism for other people to cash out, then why would I want to run up
You
the
might
price
not.
of it?
I mean, I honestly think this is I think this is the coolest thing for people that are into whatever this data science method forming
machine learning
is. That I think it's a great opportunity for them more so than investors at this point.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that.
So that is Numerai, Numerai.
Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. I would say check it out if you have time. Another coin we were asked to take a look at this week is Aicoin. The website here, aicoin.io. What they're saying they're going to do here is build wealth through the power of AI and the blockchain.
Well, that sounds nice.
It does sound nice. It's a similar theme to the last coin we just looked at.
It is a little bit similar.
The Numerai.
But these guys are not, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see them rewarding people for improving the system.
No, this is a much more traditional approach to an altcoin in the sense that basically the theme here is that they already have a trading bot of some kind developed, a trading AI. And the ICO is going to fund the bot that they've already got running. And then the profits that are generated by the bot are going to be set aside to invest in companies that do AI. So it's a little.
That's really broad. That last part.
Yeah, it's a strange. I don't know. It's a little bit of a counterintuitive approach to the problem, I think.
Are there dividends or anything like that, or a buyback?
There's nothing. There's not that much specified.
Yeah.
And also, this one for me felt really preliminary. If you go, the white paper is not available yet. The site registration doesn't work. And then that's all happening with the backdrop of the ICO starting tomorrow or something, in a couple days.
Well, it's an interesting concept, but I hear you there. I mean, if there's no info, what can you do?
Right, exactly. If you don't have your stuff together, you should delay the ICO at least or whatever. But
at least they have a website, right? We've seen some people.
Yeah, it's far from the lowest effort ICO that we've seen, but
I really just don't like broken links.
No, me either.
All right, maybe we'll learn more about it. Maybe they'll put up some info when they launch their ICO. That's Aicoin.
Aicoin.io.
All right, time for that dot giveaway.
That's right. We're going to give away some 10,000 of those dots. Brought to you by Cryptopia, cryptopia.co.nz.
Mm-hmm. The way that it will work is I will ask a question. You will tweet at me or DM me at Chain Dynamics with the answer. First person to get it correct will win the 10,000 dot.
That's right.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do some type of microphone identification thing this time. That was fun, though. I was super impressed by that.
Yeah, I can't believe people got it. But
so, what percentage of the original Espers blockchain was distributed through the reverse ICO?
So the question there, what percentage of the original Espers blockchain was distributed through the reverse ICO? It's a pretty tough one too, man.
The first person to send the correct answer gets the 10,000 dot.
That's right. Send that on over to just a DM to @ChainDynamics with your dot address. And,
okay.
Yeah, the way that it works is that someone has to claim it during the live broadcast, and then if nobody claims it during the live show, we'll just roll the bonus over to next week.
And that will lead us straight into the new coin listings.
It is time once again for new coins.
It's how we came into the world, and it's how we'll be going out with new coins.
Yeah, I live by the new coin. I die by the new coin.
Last show, we had 27 non-ICOs that we went through and 21 ICOs.
That was a lot of coins.
This show, that was 2 weeks. This show, we will have 9 non-ICOs, and we'll just name 15 ICOs.
Yeah, so we don't dive too much into the ICOs, at least on the Bitcoin Talk announcements, because they're usually too spammy or whatever. But we are going to cover 9 other kinds of coins this week. Starting off with the proof of work and proof of stake coins.
That's right. And at the top of the list this week is Honcoin.
That's HON, whole bean coin. Whole bean coin. This is just a copy and paste coin.
Yep.
High pre-mine, the usual.
The usual, not very well put together.
Lazy stuff.
Big pre-mine, bounties. Up next, sort of the same thing. This one is called Silco.
Silco. Alrighty, what are they doing here with Silco? System Integrated Ledger coin.
That's right. Whatever you're looking for, it probably isn't here unless it's like bad graphics and absurd pre-mine.
Oh man, this wallet's bad. This is funny because this wallet is like exceptionally it's almost worth looking at Silco just to check out the wallet graphics because they're just so bad.
Right, you got to wonder sometimes how hard you have to work to make something quite that way.
Usually people don't even post the picture of the wallet in the thread, right?
Right.
So not only, they could have just not posted it. It's funny.
Following that one up would be Mega Financial Holding.
Mega Financial Holding. Now that sounds legit.
These are the proof of work ones, though. So at least these have mineable coins, but the last two we covered are just basically made unmineable by the pre-mines.
It's just too lazy. There's no value in something that generic.
This one also has a huge pre-mine. Mega Financial Holding does. It actually has a funny story, though, because sometimes, and in this case, somebody scooped up that pre-mine before the dev did, so he had to relaunch it.
Oh, nice. I love it when that happens.
Yeah,
That's
relaunch
awesome.
due to error.
That's hilarious. That means the dev probably doesn't even have any mining equipment. They're just spamming these things out to dump the pre-mine, obviously. All right, that was Mega Financial Holding.
Up next was UDown.
UDown?
Yeah, they're saying,
All
you down for that?
Are you down? All right, what do we got here?
This one has a slightly smaller pre-mine,
Okay.
And nothing too special going on, but I gotta say it's better organized than the last three we mentioned.
It does look a little, it gives off the general sense that this isn't this guy's first copy and paste coin.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's his first party.
He's copy and pasted a few. He's refined his technique a little bit.
Right.
Even though the pre-mine isn't that big on paper, if you compare it to the actual mining rewards, it's still pretty large, like 20,000 blocks. That's about 9 days worth of mining with this block reward that they have. And just still the usual story. Nothing to really inspire much interest on this one either.
Nope.
That was
UDown. Which will move us into Unify.
Unify.
This one, once again, is really, I got to say, nothing special type of coin, but the dev is really straightforward about that. Sometimes we see that type of attitude. One thing that I'm finding interesting about all of these coins, and this one maybe in particular, is nobody seems discouraged by the sort of like fly-by-night attitude right now. And there are pools and there are posters. I don't know if it's just like new interest from people who just got mining gear or what's happening there, but I'm noticing... I also speculate on how real any of the discussion is on Bitcoin Talk sometimes, just because why is this happening?
Yep.
But I don't know. I find it interesting that so many of these coins are coming out that really just, almost nobody would mine back when we started. I'm not mining them now, but there seems to be a group of people that really just don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, maybe it's just the scene has grown enough. This could have just been kind of a natural evolution of the fact that anyone can make a coin or whatever. There's like no barrier to entry to this, and so I think people are just used to this constant stream of coins, and there's just a few people that do their own thing in that little world,
Perhaps.
But yep, Unify, just another one of these coins we've been talking about. Pretty generic stuff.
Up next on the list of proof of work, proof of stake coins is Denarius.
Denarius, named after some old money.
This one is from a notorious developer, Carson Clock.
Carson's back once again.
I think he's been back a couple times this year now, right?
I think this is his second. I think he
his second for
what was his earlier one from this year? I don't even remember it already.
Me neither. I feel like it
how
existed,
the time
though.
flies. Oh, definitely. It didn't go anywhere.
So this one still has that 10% pre-mine,
Ooh.
which I just gotta wish wasn't there. But it did probably get the best mining interest of the week just based on that, like, semi-celebrity status, I guess, of being a dev that's already done something in the past. I really don't know.
It's like it's the existence of a reputation, even though it might not be the best reputation as far as developers go.
Right.
Just the fact that he has a reputation has apparently is enough for a lot of people.
Right. It seemed to help.
Yep. So yeah, got the 1 million pre-mine block rewards of about 3 per block. So that's a pretty long ass pre-mine.
As Brando said before, with these types of developers, if they can stick with it, who knows? Maybe things can go well. But it kind of takes time to. You're going to be constantly proving yourself once you're in that scenario, right?
Right.
So, I guess that's where it is.
Yeah, I feel like his moment for redemption was his last coin, like his first comeback coin, and to do another one is a little bit weird, but maybe it's all some mind game. Is this going to be the coin that Carson?
No, it was the other one.
Yeah, is this going to be the coin where Carson gets serious or whatever? Yeah, we'll see.
So that one's out there. That's called
there.
Denarius. And then final proof of work, proof of stake coin this week is Mao.
Mao, named after Mao Zedong.
This is going to be the same old story. Huge pre-mine. There's a little bit different block spacing and reward structure than in our usual shitcoin here, but I think it's just for fun. I don't think there's much to see there.
Just a lot of 8s. People like to make things seem authentically Chinese by putting 8s everywhere.
Good.
But yep, just another generic pre-mine clone coin there.
Okay.
And that does it for the proof of work coins this week. They pretty much all fit the same pattern this time.
Mostly. I say that UDown and Denarius are a little more organized.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Our next category is sort of our other, we'll call it, and making that makes sense when the first coin in there is called Fart.
That's right. We got Fartcoin. Monetize your farts is the idea.
I don't think this guy's joking. Basically, he wants videos of people audibly farting and then saying something about his coin. I can't remember the exact phrase. And then they'll send you some of that fart.
Yep. 1 fart per video.
There are rules. There's a lot of red tape,
This
honestly.
is a surprising amount of rules to the distribution of Fartcoin, but...
That's how you know he's probably not joking. They did do a small airdrop, but it would have been hard to get in on that one. So I think from here on out, it's pretty much just for people willing to go through this kind of absurd process. And I'll be interested to see where the extent of this type of blockchain can go in the future.
I'm really curious. I would be curious to hear from somebody who actually tried to submit a video.
Okay.
That was Fartcoin.
Up next in the other category is Nodum.
Nodum.
Now, this one gets on the list for being an airdrop that hasn't occurred yet. These are kind of hard to come by, I feel like, because more often than not, the airdrop happens very quickly, and rather than being a attempt at a fair or even distribution, is a way to really quickly distribute the coins without anyone noticing.
Right. The classic airdrop these days is the Ninja announcement, followed by the first 1,000 respondents or whatever on Bitcoin Talk get the airdrop, right? And it's usually gone within like a few hours. So it's unusual to see these guys doing a pre-announcement. This will be an Ethereum token.
And what they say there, interestingly, as well, is that they're going to do several airdrop rounds with Ethereum tokens, and then finally they'll swap to a coin when they're ready. So it's like pretty phased in.
So the Ethereum tokens are a placeholder for a coin that
May or may not exist.
As yet unseen external blockchain.
But regardless, there is absolutely no other information there except that it will happen at some point. So we'll try to keep you up to date with it if it gets interesting. That's Nodum.
Yeah, any kind of airdrop that breaks the mold a little bit is usually a good sign. Really, any airdrop's probably worth your time.
Yeah, especially if you can actually maybe get in on it.
Alrighty. The next up is the big list of ICOs here.
Yes.
We got Meteor. We have Raw Milk Coin, ULogos, TreasureLandCoin, Encypx, ATB Coin, Ramo, InsureX, Bitquence, Morningcoin, CompoCoin, Adex, Deboot, DigicashBank, and FunFair.
That is correct.
That is-
And if anyone wants to hear about one of those coins, let us know.
yeah, if you
Otherwise, that's just a name.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to hear about an ICO, drop us a line, stop by our thread, hit up the website, and we will check it out.
We do have a winner from the question today.
Oh, sweet.
Not
Nice.
too surprised. So nice work. 2 people actually got it right, but only the first person to get it can get it. So
The
I'll
question,
contact you in a minute or two.
The question there, what percentage of the original Esper's blockchain was distributed through the reverse ICO? And the answer was 20%.
That's right.
And that reverse ICO is just the airdrop, right? Basically.
Yeah, that's a new name for it.
I like it. Esper's, man. Esper's was a great airdrop, speaking of airdrops.
Right.
Okay. So looking back at the new coins this week, pretty uninspiring list overall.
Yep.
Keep my eye on Nodum. Denarius is going to, if you just want to, keep current on what's out there, Denarius is the one that you're going to be hearing more about.
Yep.
And Fartcoin is a funny thread, I guess, at least.
Yep. If you've eaten too many beans, go get some. Go get paid. Don't sell yourself short.
Submit weird videos of yourself to strangers for cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's gonna do it. That's it for the new coins this week. Next segment, we're gonna do the rolling review. Bringing it back. It's been a few weeks. What we do here on the rolling review is that we have a list of coins that we're trying to keep track of, kind of since they launched, just to see what happens, what comes of them. And we look at a few each week, and that's how it goes down. So, kicking off the review this week, Zencash. We were following Z Classic up through its through its snapshot, just to kind of see what happened, how it went. The story is that the snapshot is done. Zencash is trading on Bittrex. I thought I remembered there being some controversy with the developer a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't actually find any information on it, so I'm not sure. It did have one of those like weird super red dump candles, but it seems to have mostly recovered. Seems like everybody's active. It's at a point where we can probably retire it from the rolling review. It's out there, it's in the ocean, it's Zencash.
Which started off as the Z Classic.
Yep, and then they did a swap to enable a developer rewards scheme because they decided they didn't like the no development rewards option. Netcoin there, Zencash.
Another one that is probably leaving the rolling review this week is Aliencoin, which used to be called TrollPay.
TrollPay. What happened to it?
Well, last time we checked in on it was show 64, and basically it had been a while. Dev said some stuff about having a baby, posted some glamour photos that Brando really liked.
Himself and the baby, man. That's what you want in your dev, is the photos of them with babies.
Since then, nothing's really changed market cap-wise, which means that likely the Bitcoin price has gone down, I would guess, since the Bitcoin USD price has gone up quite a bit.
Yep.
But there's been no updates. The TV streaming website, if you remember that, is down still, and it looks like it's going to remain down because of legal issues. They do have a website that looks like it offers node hosting service for Aliencoin or Bitcoin. I guess I would have to categorize this one as kind of in hibernation mode.
So yeah, we don't predict any large changes in really going down in TrollPay, so we're probably going to take this one off the review as well. It's out there. It's done its thing.
It's done its thing. Let's see if it does anything else sometime.
Another coin we haven't checked in on in a long time. Little coin called Helium. So Helium's just been it's kind of like a joke to us because we don't get pre-announcements very often. That's why we were surprised by that Nodum new coin from earlier. And Helium was a coin that actually came out as a pre-announcement. So we decided we were actually going to try to follow it through.
Right. Let's just see what happens here.
Yep. For weeks and weeks and weeks, there was nothing going on. finally now, here we are, like 3 months later. They have announced the launch. It's happening.
There will be a snapshot of the Spreadcoin chain on August 1st. Funny timing, right?
Yeah, that is funny timing, right?
Yeah.
They do the snapshot when the Bitcoin thing's happening. Damn, that's smart.
So,
oh my God, that's brilliant.
Who knows what that'll cost, but the bottom line is they've been active. We've been trying to keep track of this one for a long time. It's been hard just because of the time that's passed.
Yep.
But who knows? Maybe this will actually become a coin someday.
And as you can expect, Spreadcoin, the coin they're going to fork it or do the snapshot of, is already up like 10x.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
You're not going to get
a
cheap.
really It seems like a hard one to buy at this point, from my perspective.
But at the same time, as we've seen with so many other coins, snapshots can be kind of an interesting driver to some weird price.
And these guys,
stuff.
Interestingly, these guys aren't planning. They aren't the developers of Spreadcoin. I don't think. I don't think they're planning on affecting the development of Spreadcoin after this.
Yeah, you kind of have to wonder, right? Maybe this is their exit from Spreadcoin.
Maybe, but they haven't made that clear, right?
Well, and it's just a snapshot too, so
right.
You keep your Spreadcoin,
So that one's Helium.
It's true. The coin Helium.
So I guess we'll leave that one on the review for now.
Yeah.
Still, it has not.
Yeah.
It has not concluded its story.
No, we got to keep up with Helium, man.
Pascal Lite is another one that's still on here. Last time we checked in 5 weeks ago, their thread said something revolutionary is coming.
We're ready. We're ready for the revolution.
I don't see that reference anymore, but so I'm not sure anything revolutionary occurred. But they do have a kind of nicely formatted website, and they have a mobile wallet and a web wallet since then. So I'll give them like a 9 out of 10 for presentation at this point. It is still, in air quotes, only traded on Cryptopia. And I'm really curious what will become of a coin in this category at this point, and within the, just going forward. I really don't know.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of these Cryptopia coins. There's just been a nice burst in volume there, as on so many other exchanges. And, we're kind of all wondering what the other side of this frenzy looks like, and how the effects will be felt down the chain. Pascal Lite will be a kind of a good example, probably a good barometer to watch for that kind of stuff, because it's actually been really steady essentially since it launched. Very low volatility for a lower cap coin. Surprisingly high price and volume, all things considered. And so yeah, I'm really curious to watch this one. But still, right now, just in a holding pattern. It's doing what it's been doing. If it's definitely still early, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I just don't know where do these fit in the future of cryptocurrencies. There seems like there's so many coins already. Right,
and I've had this, kind of idea for a while, especially for first-year proof-of-work coins. A lot of people are used to the ICO distribution model, which basically means that all of the coins that will ever exist are released at one time. So that provides a dynamic to the market, essentially, of saying there's no inflation in the supply of this cryptocurrency. For first year proof of work coins, especially, the complete opposite situation is true. Their inflation rates are huge, right? If the coin's been out for a month, it has 1,000% inflation generally. If it's a long proof of work coin, and of course that decreases over time. After it's been out for a year, it still has about 100% inflation rate, and some of those effects are not. The cryptocurrency markets are so volatile that effect gets shrouded in a lot of ways. But it's still a factor, and so one of those things that you see on stuff like Pascal Lite is, and a lot of other long proof-of-work coins, is they tend to have a much longer accumulation cycle, just waiting for the course of that inflation to play itself out. And that's been one of the questions of this whole pump cycle is, can coins like this that normally might have a much longer accumulation cycle actually, pump and maintain price just because this market is so crazy overall?
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, that's a question with coins from Pascal Lite, Pascal, Zcash, Zclassic. That factor is going to affect a lot of these.
Remember how fast Zcash was going down under such high volume when it first got listed?
Oh man, it was incredible.
Yeah.
I never saw my .01 What was the
We
low?
never got there.
Did it got into the .02s? Did it get into the .02s? I don't remember.
I don't want to be wrong.
I'll look it up.
So, back to the rolling review. Another one on here is Wyvern.
Wyvern. So the idea here was it would be like a coin that gamers would trade amongst themselves for Steam objects and that kind of thing. It was looking really good out of the gate. Had kind of a nice longish proof of work distribution, but with a kind of a some good specs as far as like the decreasing rewards and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
In recent days, it's gone quiet. It was chilling at around like 300,000 market cap, I think, last time we checked in. The price is about a third to a quarter of where it was back then.
Wow.
Developers have gone quiet, so not really a great space to be in, to be honest. But
Did you used to like to think about how it might be possible to run up the price of a Steam trading card?
right, yep. You think Wyvern's the key pump?
I think it might be related somehow.
You could get all the trading cards with Wyvern. The low for Zcash was 0.022. So yeah, as far as Wyvern goes, yeah, things have gone quiet there. It's not really a great look, but it's not done for. We'll see what happens.
All right. Final one on the rolling review this week is going to be Bismuth.
Bismuth. So the story on Bismuth, ground up coin built in Python.
People have been having a lot of technical problems with this since day one.
Yep, and people still, it seems like, are not really able to sync up and mine it very well. Pools are having a hard time getting set up. I thought I saw a rumor or something on Twitter about the dev leaving, but I couldn't find anything to back it up. It still seems like he's posting in the thread or whatever, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But, you know, Bismuth is in an interesting dynamic right now because, yeah, it's really hard for people to mine it. It's really hard for anybody to get involved with it right now. That can just make the kind of the rush, the bandwagon effect be that much stronger if it does ever kind of get settled in place.
Sure.
You know, if they get the mining fixed, if they get pools up, if they manage to get the RPC working and that kind of stuff that's needed to get on exchanges, then all of a sudden that the kind of early troubles will be quickly forgotten if they can work through those barriers. But as for now, progress has been slow, but it seems like they're still trying.
All right.
And that is Bismuth. And I think that's going to wrap up our rolling review. And then we'll be back, of course, next time with another set of those sweet, sweet review coins. I might start mixing some ICO stuff in here. I'm not sure.
We just finished up our rolling review. We finished it up with Bismuth, and now we're going to move into coin listings.
Coin listings.
Starting off with our buddies over at Cryptopia. They listed Augur.
Okay, cool.
Bittrex listed MobileGo, CreditBit, and Patientory.
CreditBit. Did they delist CreditBit at one point?
I think that's what people were saying, yeah.
Or was it ever on? Maybe it was just never on Bittrex.
I think it might have been.
What a world. Nothing from Yobit, huh?
I guess not.
Weird.
Chilling. They've been like, I don't know if you saw that they fixed like 2 wallets in the last month.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's absurd. I don't know how much that must have cost. But
and that's 2 more than usual, right?
Right.
Interesting.
2 more than we've seen in the entire time we've done this show.
Yep.
So over on Novaexchange, they listed Stakecoin, Silco, Soapcoin, Coindaddy, Aliencoin, Tempo, AllSafe 2, Meteor Coin, Virtuanique Coin, eMoney Power, Weekend Coin, and Syndicate.
Okay. Over on Livecoin, they added Trump Coin, FinCoin, and VSM.
That's Voice.
Then
on CoinExchange.io, they listed Voxels, Cheap Coin, Harmony Coin, 611, Runestone Coin, Lynx, Nero, Pirate Blocks, Terra Nova Coin, Ammo Rewards, KuCoin, and Coin Mining Index.
Over on Liqui, they added BNT, that's the Bancor Network Token, MobileGo, Patientory, Singular DTV, and Mysterium.
All right.
Alrighty, big old list of listings there. A lot of Ethereum tokens making their way around.
Yep.
And yeah, that's really the story, I think.
That's pretty much it.
We're going to close it up this week with some birthdays.
Yep, it's fun to celebrate the Genesis block of a chain. 4-year birthday. Happy birthday to Florin.
Florincoin. Let's see, Genesis block there, June 17th, 2013.
It's a long time ago.
That's a good run, man.
That's an old coin.
Kudos to Florincoin, and congrats on a happy 4-year birthday.
And then a happy 1-year birthday to Syndicate.
That's right, Syndicate. How time flies by, man. I would never have never thought of it. Good old Syndicate.
I guess it would be very hard to not call this coin still alive, though, at this point.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's got Block Explorer. It's listed.
It's out there. People are doing it.
Market cap 1 year in, sitting at 462 Bitcoins. Happy birthday.
And that is going to do it for Blockchain Dynamics episode number 67. As always, want to thank Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Absolutely. Check them out. Stop by that thread. Say hello. We'll give you some dot.
You can also stop by our website. That is blockchaindynamics.net.
As Brando said, this was episode number 67 on Error by Trial Radio. And we will see you next week with heavier bags.
Peace.
Currency. Like a couple Bitcoins. Money, pull up on my Nakamoto.